Hey guys, what's up? Jared here, Dex and Dice, Ramblings of an LGS Owner. So, today I kind of want to ramble about video games, honestly. I'm not going to go too deep into it or whatever. Side note, video games has been my jam. I'm chewing gum. I probably shouldn't be chewing gum while I'm talking to you guys, but I apologize. Anyways, here we go. Um, I've been gaming since I was probably five, maybe six. Five sounds more reasonable, just my memory. So that would put me back at 1988 is when I started gaming. And, you know, when someone younger than me speaks to me about gaming and all that, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but I feel like that scene or whatever from, what is it? The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, where the lines like, don't speak to me of the deep lore, I was there when it was written, or whatever the hell it is. I kind of feel like that. And again, I mean that in the most respectful way possible, because if you've been gaming as long as I have, then you've been through some stuff, you've seen some things. You you saw the transition from NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, Jaguar, 3DO, uh, you know, uh, Dreamcast, PS1, PS2, OG Xbox, so forth and so forth. You were literally there for pretty much the most defining moments in gaming. And all of the games in there, for better or worse, you probably experienced most of them like I did. And and I believe having that much experience and having that much change in such a relatively short period of time skews your perception on what is currently going on. And I say current, I mean probably in the last 5 years or so, give or take, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, probably a little bit more, probably like 10 years. Anyways, and kind of what spurred this though was I watched one of Frank's videos, Frank's hobbies. Shout out to him. He shouted me out, so I feel it's only right. Go check him out, Uncle Frank. He did something about video games, and I made a comment about like, do you think it's really? Oh, it was like physical media. It was like, do you really think it's like the physical media and retro games is really like where it's at now, or is it really just us old people and what we remember and what we are hanging on to, like the nostalgia button of like, oh, I remember that. It was really cool. And that's it. Like it just tickles that button for a second and then that's it. Because I know that back when, the vid was going around, I had a pretty hefty video game collection. I was, the couple of years prior, I was a GameStop store manager. Well, I worked my way up from peon to store manager, so I'd been there for a while, so I had collected a bunch of stuff on top of what I had previously collected, just being a avid video game player. So I ended up selling most of that to wing my way, well, mine and the family's way through, those beautiful, beautiful times. I won't get into any more than that because it gets kind of, it angers me, honestly. But here we are, snapping back. Um, and then like when I was selling, I was like, man, this sucks. Like that was a really good game. And then a couple of years later, it was like, well, what did I really lose? I played the crap out of those games. I know them more or less like the back of my hand. They were great experiences, but I could only play them for 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour. We'll be gracious, an hour. Before I was like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. I know where to go to get this weapon. I know where this secret is. I know how to cheese X, Y, and Z. And it just kind of was like, meh. Like I wasn't missing anything. And it's kind of sad, to kind of come to that realization, but that they were just sitting there collecting dust and all that good stuff. But to kind of bring it back around to, like, I guess the point was, with experiencing everything like that, being there for when, the lore was written and all that, there's not a whole bunch that comes out anymore that really grabs me, and what spawned that too was I'm playing the new Doom. It's mid. Like, honestly, it's mid at best. Um I am 7 chapters in, I think. Somewhere around there, between the 6 and 8 mark, probably. I don't know. Anyways, um, and it's mid at best. Like, really, it is. It's cool. Yay! I get some pretty interesting guns. I kill a bunch of demons. The glory kills are pretty crappy. Since they got rid of, what's his name? I can't remember. The soundtrack is pretty ass. Um, it's not anywhere near as gory as I remember, like maybe say Doom 2016 being or whatnot, or it's mid. Okay, it's mid, and it's Doom, but it's mid. But I had the same experience with what was it? Ghost of Tsushima, if that's how you can pronounce it. I'm Southern, so bear with me. Um, I got a lot of crap for telling people that it's literally just Assassin's Creed Samurai. Like, it's what the newest Assassin's Creed probably should have been. Because, again, with all the experience I have, you were able to deduce, or you should have, that, what's her name's brother was going to die. Um, the main guy, God, I can't remember his name, and his uncle, you knew there was going to be a fissure there just because his uncle didn't agree with the way he was having to conduct himself. Um, and the fissure was either going to be his uncle was going to turn on him and try to kill him, or he was going to have to turn on his uncle and try to kill him. It's just kind of the thing that happens, you know? Um, so those things didn't surprise me at all. It was pretty much literally like Assassin's Creed just copy pasted. That's what it was. And I think having that kind of outlook, and this is like a rambling video, guys, so I apologize. Having that kind of outlook has completely ruined my outlook for any new games. Not saying I'm not going to play them, because I am, because I love video games. Um, but I'm not going to fanboy over them. Like Doom, I was optimistic with. The new Borderlands 4, I'm really optimistic about, but I'm not going to fanboy over it. There's probably not a whole lot in there that they can introduce that I'm not going to be like, oh well, okay, it's Borderlands with this mechanic I saw back in 1999 or I saw back in 2008. It was just something that is reused. Like, once your brain starts making those connections with modern day gaming, it really loses a lot of its like luster, I guess, man. And I mean that in the best way possible, because again, I love video games. I'm going to play the crap out of the stuff that comes out, but again, I'm not going to be drooling and fanboying, be like, oh guys, the greatest thing ever, because it's not. But I'm just curious if, like, the older people out there who game and everything, if you have run into the same scenario or something similar, like, what do you do? What have you done to kind of like overcome that bias that older gamers like myself probably have? Because again, I'm not saying I'm stopping gaming. I'm not really trashing video gaming. None of that shit. Video gaming has honestly helped me, just like card games and all that stuff, through some of the crappiest times in my life, and I cannot stress crappiest times in my life enough to where, like, I'm gonna stop doing them. I just something I kind of have been noticing the last maybe 2 or 3 years with gaming is like, oh well, it's cool, yay. but I'm not as impressed as someone in their late teens or in their 20s or whatever would be with the game. And that's perfectly fine. To be honest, old fogies like myself, we're probably not the demographic that they're going after, even though we are the kids who have grown up money now. you know. But anyways, and like don't get me started on like games as a service kind of thing or whatever. I have a pretty love-hate relationship with that. Same as MMOs. MMOs kind of seem like if you weren't there within the first 2 or 3 expansions, it's pretty much there's no sense in you getting into it because you'll be lost. It's probably gotten overly complicated by now. So many like buttons and macros or whatever, kind of like WoW, like where people have to use third-party apps in order to play WoW correctly. Um, and then like the games as a service thing, like I said, that's just I understand it. Some of it, okay, cool, whatever, but I don't like it essentially. Um, and even some of the like DLC stuff, especially if it's like DLC stuff that was supposed to happen, in between, we'll just say like chapter 3 and 4 of the main game, but it's now DLC after you finish the main game, so you know how the story ends anyways. Sometimes it's kind of cool to get like a slightly more fleshed out perspective of where I guess the story could have branched out, but it didn't. Sometimes it's kind of cool, but most of the time it's like, I don't care about your DLC. I've already completed the game. You're coming out with this 5 months after I've completed the game. Unless it was something really, really awesome, why the hell should I care? Um, so, but yeah, I guess I'm, I'm done rambling on that. I just wanted to throw this one out there because it's just a little topic I've been kicking around my head. Like I said, what do you guys do to kind of like combat this? To just get over it, or like I don't know. That's probably a bad phrasing, but like I don't know. How do you deal with it, cope with it, whatever? Or do you just be like me and you're just like, well, it is what it is. Screw it. I'm gonna keep gaming anyways. But like, do you also find it really hard to, if not impossible, to go back through and play any of the old like retro titles you have? Um, is it? Well, there goes a fire truck. I hope they're okay, and I hope you can hear me over that. But do you like, do you find yourself suffering the same thing that I do, where like you can just play 30 minutes or an hour maybe, and that's it, and you put it down and you never go back to it? Because there's literally no way that you can still be on the edge of your seat again, and just hanging on every scene or whatever from, we'll say, Final Fantasy VII, just to make a big one out there. Um, or even like with The Last of Us, the first one. Like there's no way in hell that you can still be like, yes, like you know what's going to happen. You've already seen it. You know what to do. But anywho, old man rambling, old man problems. I get it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Also like, sub, share. Please, dear God, help me break the 1K mark so I can start monetizing this mofo. It would be swell. Also, check out our Patreon. Give me some stuff to help keep the shop going and for me to keep rambling like this. Yeah, that's really about it. I don't really have much to say about the overall market currently, except for what everyone else is saying is Final Fantasy is way hyped. Final Fantasy is way like overpriced, and the main thing that I will say about Final Fantasy coming up is there are going to be so many fucking collector boxes opened trying to go after that chocobo. You're going to see an oversaturation of special cards and like special frames and shit like that hit the market, to where I don't think singles are going to be quite as expensive or lucrative as they should be, unfortunately. But that's just my little tinfoil hat theory on that one. Same thing with you know, like Pokemon with what is it, Destined Rivals coming up, and then the black and white thing. Gonna be ridiculous. As everyone has already said and told you, I'm preaching to the crowd. My allocations are crap for both of them. It is what it is. Don't know how the hell we're supposed to make money off of this crap. But you know, I guess me and my 6 booster boxes of Destined Rivals or whatever will figure something out. You know, or whatnot. Anyways, again, you guys have a good one. Don't forget, sub, like, share, get me over 1K, please. That would be fantastic. Join the Patreon, check everything out. Yeah, after that, you guys be good. Remember, life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. You're a trash can, not a trash can't. And I'll see you whenever I decide to do another rambling video.